I think actually we just need to quickly start out on the biggest free agent, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
I don't think his draft stock or his stock will rise or fall anyway. Like people will know he's still a good player.
I think
Uh,
top five player in the league,
yeah.
arguably.
Um, but this is the weirdest one because it all falls Kawhi. If he loses, he's out of there.
And that's the question. I think we should actually talk about this because the fact of the matter is Kawhi Leonard has bought a bajillion houses in LA.
Yep.
A bajillion. But if you have Paul George and that team, which on paper is one of the better teams in the West, and you don't get out of the first round, which is still a big if, there's still a lot of games to go in that series. Do you leave? Do you abandon your 30 houses? And do you move to say, I don't know. I mean, like, where else would he want to go? Like, that's the other question. Miami. I've heard about Kawhi to Miami, which could be interesting.
Get rid of Jimmy Butler too, maybe.
Despite what just happened,
yeah.
Like, ultimately, does he go? Like, would he consider leaving if they got knocked out in round one and he realized my legacy is getting tarnished every time I lose in the Western Conference playoffs?
I do think you're right. It would be weird to get rid of all those houses. So I think, Kawhi to the Lakers, totally fair. Totally affordable too.
Yeah, that's like the best teams of all time.
No, but I've heard Miami, I've heard Dallas somehow. I think whenever there's a big free agent like Giannis, a while back, like people are like, oh, he's going to Dallas. But no, I mean, he's definitely leaving those houses if he loses. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, why would he want to stay for a team that is supposed to be like? There's no doubt he is the best player on that court on his team.
Yeah, there's a doubt whether he's the best player in this series right now. I'll say that.
Yeah. There is. I doubt that.
I do too. Like as crazy as it sounds.
Best player on his team, no matter what. And he has a great secondary option in Paul George. And you're right. So if this team can't get out of the first round, then why would he want to stay? I mean, this is a dude that wanted to change a team for the better. Like, he went to Toronto, won a ring, and was like, peace out, y'all. I'm outie. I'm going to go live it up.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going home to build a super team.
And this isn't about the money for him. Like, I'm pretty sure he's $35 million right now.
He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of
money. So he can get another house and like wherever he goes.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts on this, Joe.
Yeah.
I agree with you because ultimately, despite the fact that he's at home, despite the fact that logistically it'd be a nightmare to sell your 30 houses, or however many houses he has, here's the facts. He left Toronto. Pretty honestly, it was a very low pressure situation when Kawhi Leonard got traded to Toronto. It was a new coach. It was in the Eastern Conference with the Bucks surging, and ultimately winning those finals was like one of the better accomplishments. It wasn't totally unexpected, but I would say it was relatively unexpected. He beat Steph Curry and the Warriors, despite the fact they were banged up. And he is now in a high pressure situation with ultimately high expectations every year.
Yep.
And every time the Clippers fail, it falls back on him and Paul George. And he's in a situation where he's got the world of expectations at his hands, but his team's not living up to them. And ultimately his team's probably not constructed well enough to live up to those expectations right now. So he's in a lose-lose situation, whereas in Toronto, he's in a win-win. And now people are talking about whether Nick Nurse was the real reason why they won that championship, because like they were the second seed in the East last year without Kawhi Leonard. Now, obviously, they fell off, but that's people leaving out the narrative. I think that ultimately he would probably go to Miami, Miami or a good Eastern Conference location with less pressure. It's easier to get out of the East ultimately. I mean, then Brooklyn Nets might have something to say about that, and the Milwaukee Bucks and the Sixers. But compared to the West, it's still a little easier. And then if he gets out of that, he'll get credit for beating Giannis or whoever he beats. And it's a lower pressure situation with expectations that are a bit lower, I'd say as well.